Hello and welcome back to the video course on how to create quality content quickly using AI tools. Now this is the last video of the course. We've basically covered everything. We've used the tool to create our entire article. It's ready to publish. So let's just do the last kind of things to it. And then we'll review the whole process and discuss whether it's met our goals and where to go from here. So here is the post. Now I even took the suggestion that our tool gave us for sourcing an image. Here's the suggestion here. So a photograph of a person sitting at a desk with a laptop surrounded by various content creation tools and resources such as a calendar, notepad, and a pen. This image could symbolize the idea of streamlining the content creation process and being organized and prepared for the task at hand. So I went and I sourced a free image that based on the suggestion, and I added some excerpts. Now, the tool actually provided quite a substantial post excerpt. I like mine a little bit shorter, so I just cut some of the words out. But basically the entire content is very much what ChatGPT provided. No words have been changed in this thing. We'll touch upon this when we review the process in a few minutes. The last thing I want to do before we actually go ahead and publish is I just want to do a check for copyright. I just want to make sure that our tool hasn't just gone and stolen someone else's work and then presented it as its own. Because, if I'm going to publish this on my website as you would on your website, you just want to make sure that the content is not someone else's. So to do that, I'm just going to go very simply. We're just going to copy. Let me check first of all the title. So okay, so it didn't match any documents. So the title, good. So the title is original. I've gone through and I've picked out a few other passages. So let's just go and test some of these other passages. Okay, so that didn't match any other documents. Let's do a couple more. So far what this is telling us is that the tool pretty much generated the content. Okay. This didn't match any documents either. And one more. So these are all bits of text that I pulled out from the actual article. And I just want to see whether it's duplicated anywhere else. And Google would know. So no. Okay. So what he basically says to me is that ChatGPT actually created an original article with unique content. So I'm happy with this, and let's go ahead and publish. So there we go. The content is now published. Let's go and view the post. And here's the post live on the website, completely generated by an AI tool. And I actually do mention it at the bottom here that this article is entirely AI generated. And I'll be creating an article on the site describing the whole process as we've been recording it in this video. So that's the post done. So let's now do an analysis and review of the whole process and see whether it's met our goals. And yeah, so okay, so the aim of this video course was to create quality content quickly using artificial intelligence tools. And what we looked at, the tool that we looked at was ChatGPT. Here's the web address. You can go and sign up for an account. It's a free tool. I don't know how long it's going to be free for, or if it, what the plans are. It's It's out of my control, but right now you can go and you can sign up for an account and you can experiment and play with it. So let's take a look at the summary of the goals. This is what this video course aimed to do. First was to use AI to create a high quality article from start to finish. Second was to create a quality article quickly using AI. Third was to create a quality article easily using AI. Fourth, to create a substantial article using AI without changing a word. And the fifth was for us then to decide if using AI tools to write content is worth it. So let's go through each of these and see how we did. So the first goal was to use an AI tool to create a quality article from start to finish. Well, I think we pretty much did that. The ChatGPT delivered us article ideas, delivered an article outline, delivered the article introduction, created all of the sections. Now we know that it kind of ran out and we had to go back and fix a few, run a few more queries to get the rest of the content, but it did generate the sections. And it generated an article conclusion. And it actually added, went very creative with it as well. So also during the process and in this video course, we did a few additional things like asked it to rephrase and paraphrase text, did some fact checking. We asked to help expand our vocabulary with looking for synonyms for different words. It generated post excerpts, meta descriptions, tags, and it even provided a suggestion for the feature image for our article. So I would say that in this respect, ChatGPT met all of the criteria, and it helped to generate what I would consider a quality article, and it did it from start to finish. So very good. So that's goal number one. Goal number two was to create a quality article quickly. Now, as we did in the videos, I timed the process from basically asking the tool to create each specific part of the process, and it did it really quickly, and it was very impressive. So it just took literally 6 minutes for ChatGPT to create our entire article. Now, so I would say that the whole process could have been, going back and doing little tweaks and regenerating some of the suggestions. It would be no more than, say, 10 to 15 minutes to generate all of the material needed to put an article together. So about 10 to 15 minutes of using the tool gave us a quality content, gave us a quality article. So I think goal number two was met. Goal number three was to create a quality article easily. Now, I'm going to pretty much let you know that I've just recently come across this tool. I've probably only heard about it a week ago. And I watched a couple of videos on YouTube about it and just saw, wow, look at what these people are doing with it. So I went in, registered an account. This video is only the second time that I've actually gone in and looked at the tool, and I think previously I only ran one query just to see what it did. I was impressed enough that it sparked the idea, why don't I go through the process and see if I can create an entire article with it. And that's what we just did in this video. So did it create a quality article easily? I think so. All I did was I entered these instructions that I'm showing you here on the screen. So basically, very simply, I just, as you saw on the video, type a few instructions. I guess over time you get to ask better questions and to get better results. And so so I think that created the article really easily. All I had to do was type in a couple of instructions and hit the enter button. So very, very easily, yes. So I think this goal has been met as well. Goal 4, use AI to create an article without changing a word. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the course, I am a content writer, and I do work also as a blog editor for a company. So my natural instinct is to go in and change things and adjust. But for the purpose of this video course, I just wanted to see, is this tool up to scratch? Will it deliver me something where I literally just hit the button, copy, paste, and it's ready to go? That's what I did. So I added the draft article to the website as is. All I did was I then deleted unnecessary or alternative regenerated responses, because as you saw in the videos, a couple of times I pressed let's do this again and see what kind of different answer it provides. And so I had different options, and all I did, as you saw, I copied and pasted them all into a text file. So when I transferred that into the draft post, where they repeated, I had something like three sections for three different sections for, say, tip number 3. So I just went and I looked at those and I thought, oh, I like that one, and I deleted the other 2. So I didn't change any of the words, I just removed unnecessary content. Then, as I explained in the previous video, I went and did some minor content formatting, like turn things into bullets, add bold, and then make certain line breaks so they weren't just big chunky paragraphs, and added the haiku and the limerick at the end and put them into quotation marks. So that just a bit of basic formatting. And then I went through, and because this is part of my website, and I've got quite a lot of content related to the article, I went and I added links to other lessons and on the website. So in total, I would say, so let's just say it took 10 minutes, 10 minutes to generate the whole content, and then probably 30 to 40 minutes of then just going through and doing all of this other work. Let's put it to an hour. So in 1 hour, we've published a post on the website. So the question then is using AI to create content worth it? Well, in terms of saving time, I can see a lot of uses in saving time with areas like content planning, content research, and content production. Now, what I like about this is that it would just became a very efficient way. You saw it created an outline, created descriptions, briefs, even suggestions. Go and find this type of image. So if I was putting together a brief for a writer, it pretty much gave me a lot of the foundations for the article, including generating a list of ideas. So in terms of saving time in those areas, I think absolutely wonderful, and I'm very impressed. As someone who writes content professionally, I would use this. I wouldn't. For this video, I just posted the content as it was generated by AI. Personally, I would go and expand on the content and revise some of the sections, and do things like add screenshots, and I would do a bit more work to it, but it definitely saves time. I'm used to kind of taking several days to generate a really good, comprehensive, detailed, quality article. This saved considerable time. This could literally reduce the process of writing an article that would take, let's say, 3 or 4 days to 1. So in terms of, in terms of saving time, yes, definitely, I think it's worth it. In terms of saving money, there's quite a, there's a balance, because depending on what you use this for, you could say that you're basically taking someone else's job away. It just kind of relatively, generally speaking. I've looked at some videos and stuff where people have used AI to generate like a artwork design, which would have taken the job of, say, an illustrator or something like that. So I'm just talking in those kind of terms. I'm not literally talking about taking anyone's job away. I'm just saying that it definitely is, I can see the money saving potential in this, tied to the fact that it's so efficient and concise, and I think it's only going to get better. So obviously the whole point of this video course is for you to observe the process and make your decision as to whether this is, would you use an AI tool like ChatGPT to create content for your website. So, I'm excited that it's actually opened up a whole lot of ideas in terms of where I'm going to go with this. And so, before I move into and discuss a few of these kind of ideas, there are questions, tied to using AI. One of them is SEO, and I came across an article where, basically Google says that AI generated content is against the guidelines. So I'm not here to, tell you whether I'm pro or con or anything like that. I'm just presenting you the information. There's the link below the screenshot there, and you can go and read the article for yourself, and you make your own decision and get more informed. And then there's also the question of ethics. As I showed you in my article, I'm not going to claim that one of the when I started this video course, I asked the question, could an AI tool generate content of a quality that I'd be proud to put my name to it? Now, I think this exercise showed that the content is I would definitely, and I just did, I published the content on my website. But I'm not going to claim that I'm the author of it because I literally didn't write it. I just, pressed a couple of buttons. So at the end, that's why I put the disclaimer. This is entirely AI generated. So there are ethical questions, and all of the field of artificial intelligence is under kind of ethical scrutiny at the moment. So that's just part of the bigger picture. So having talked about that, let's just go and take a look now at some of the kind of different ideas that using this tool has sparked for me, and it will no doubt spark for you. And in saying that, if you go on YouTube and you just type even ChatGPT, there are already a ton of videos of people coming up with code for applications and this and that. So all of those technical areas can be done. These are just some of the things that I found really interesting. So just looking at the possibilities of using this tool, my area, as I said, is to create content and to focus on how to manage content more effectively. And that's where I'm interested in using AI tools. So one of them is basically, this is straightforward. I just asked the tool to suggest 5 unique gifts for left-handed people. And it delivered me a bunch of, suggestions. So very good. And it actually comes up with its own little title for the chat, unique lefty gifts. Wonderful. And I appreciate it because I'm left-handed. Okay, the next one is, I said, could it actually create a recipe? So I typed in, write a recipe for cooking hot spicy chicken in an air fryer. And there you go, delivered me a recipe. And I like it. I'm reading this. I've got an air fryer. I like hot spicy chicken. And it all makes sense to me. I think it would taste delicious. The next one is, I just said, what about creating a video script? So create a video script about ways to make money using ChatGPT. And there you go. It just immediately delivered me. I'm sure lots of people have typed the same question into the tool. So anyway, you can use it to create video scripts. And then I did something which I saw in a video. I was watching an interview about people who create books and stuff like that, starting to use AI. So I came onto the tool and I said, create a plot for a book about a poor mosquito that falls in love with a rich butterfly. It created a little plot for a story called Love Conquers All. And there you go. Actually gave me the little story of Max and Bella. So Max the poor mosquito and Bella the beautiful rich butterfly. So Yeah, look, there are infinite possibilities. Now, personally, I'm very interested in just seeing where this goes. Actually, prior to this video, I did create an entire video course on how to use text to speech. So how to use AI voices to create professional human-sounding narrations. Um, and so where I also see an exciting possibility now is using a tool like ChatGPT to create the text and then feed the text into the AI voices and have the whole thing be narrated. So I think it's in terms of content creation, and as someone who creates content, and I'm very excited by all of this. And it will be interesting to see where it goes. I think it's only going to get obviously it's only going to keep growing and expanding. This area is just going to get more and more developed. So I think exciting, fun times ahead. Hopefully, that's pretty much the video course. Then I want to thank you for sitting through all the video lessons. I hope you got as excited about using AI tools to create quality content as I did. And I've posted the link to the article on that's on my website if you want to go and check out the end result. And I'll be posting a whole article describing the process too, as recorded in this video course. So so from a human to another human, hopefully. Thank you for watching this video course, and I wish you all the best.